And welcome to TGP1 Season 33, Rounds 11 and 12, Spain and Singapore. My mic has actually been on mute for the past 5 minutes, so I do apologise for that. I'm trying new things on the stream, so I've just been chatting shit to myself the entire time. So that's a great way to start the stream. But as I was trying to say, people are going really quick. Let's just say that. Let's just continue anyway. People have been going really quick. Aiden is in P4. And I think Aiden can go another 4/10 quicker. I am hearing as well there, so we'll see. We'll see if he can do that on his final run. It is a question of whether he can or cannot, whether he bottles it or not. Ginger Andy currently in P9, whereas Jack Pearson in P14. Jack's just as shit as usual, clearly, but I think Jack may be able to improve. I think in his sweat sessions, a 19.1 was his fastest, so he's already higher than that, to be honest with yourself. So that's, I guess, a positive. But Corey then on and out. We're actually going to go on board on the T-Cam with Corey on this. This will be either his last or second to last lap. And he needs to be a big one because he's only in 7th at the moment. Obviously, currently in hot lap mode. He will obviously go into overtake as he hits 7th gear. And there we go. He does that perfectly fine there. Down the main straight he goes. It is going to be an interesting one to see sort of where he can go. A big task getting ahead of Matt Tibos, who is a specialist around here. He actually avoids the curb on the right-hand side. I think he got a bit of understeer there, so not really what he wants. So that would have lost him a bit of time. Pretty much full throttle round turn 3. Slight curb there. Early entry, I'd say, to this one, and just keep scrubbing the speed off and then getting hard on the power. It is very careful, and needs to be very careful on the exit there. Downhill left-hander, obviously 360 there. And I must say, you know, a relatively tight lap, nothing special, but we'll see as J-Luke has retired from the session. I think that was just him retiring as Speed Knight, and they gets out of the way. Camps then, takes curb on there, takes not quite enough curb on the exit, I'd say, but it's a very cautious lap, and he's currently 7/10 up on his lap time, so this will put him, you know, again, it will put him sort of around P2, which I guess isn't bad. However, you know, he's still going to be quite considerably behind Matt Tibos at present. He's only got 1 lap after this one if he does a second one. Careful not to invalidate it there. And then here we go then, Corey around the final corner. What is he going to do? Is going to go P2 there. We're going to go straight with Matt Tibos as he is starting a lap into turn 1. Does he take a lot of curb? He takes a lot more curb than Corey. Avoids the curb on the left-hand side. And there's a spinner, and it's Jack Pearson, and Matt Tibos is out. Oh, what a shame for Matt Tibos. I think that's going to be an interesting one if the stewards have to look at that, to be honest with yourself. I'm not really too sure what happened there, to be honest with you. So that's an interesting one there. Obviously, I'm hearing Jack Pearson had already retired, apparently, obviously, when that happened. So, again, it could go either way there. But Khalifa then in P3 apparently is 7 seconds down on his current lap. So I think he has abandoned his lap there. That's perfectly fine. Panos around the final corner, I'm hearing as well there. He's a 10th and a half up on his time, so that will not really make much of a difference. And actually, he apparently goes 7/10 down on his lap, so that was an interesting one there. But Khalifa is starting another lap then. Obviously, Machine Fishy is on a current lap, half a 10th up on his, but we'll actually stay with Machine Fishy just because he is the one fighting for the title. I mean, so is Khalifa, to be honest with yourself, but he's further around the lap. His Machine Fishy will go on board with Khalifa afterwards. But here we go through this left-right chicane, avoid taking too much curb on the right-hand side on the exit, and that is qualifying over for Aiden and Carl in P5 and 6 there. Takes a lot of curb on the exit. Obviously, Mr. Chiapelli has retired, who is in 16th. Obviously, 2.5 temps, then Machine Fishy is up on his time, so that will pretty much put him around P2. And there's a, Phil Bargewell there, getting in the way Machine Fishy, and that's Machine Fishy's lap ruined. That is Machine Fishy's lap pretty much ruined, so that is not very good there. So that's not good from Phil. I think he also retired just like Jack, and I do believe in the rules it does state that if you retire and your car gets in the way, that is down to your fault. And you know, even with that, Machine Fishy improves by 2.5 temps. He does go P3, and then we are going to go. Khalifa there getting a back. That's Khalifa's lap over. So that's not good there. And there we go then. So Andy round the final corner. Time's going up. What is he going to do? Is he going to improve on P9? He doesn't. He finishes in P9 there. And then Robo Jeep is the last of the runners as Alfa Romeo gets out of the way there in the gravel. I think that's an AI car more than anything. Robo Jeep currently 13. He's been on those laps. he's been on those tyres for 2 laps, should I say, and he's dived into the pits there, so he will start no better than 13th. And that is your qualifying results for TGP1 at Spain. We've got Matt Tibos and Corey locking out the front row. The top 3 are pretty expected, to be honest with yourself. Obviously, with that, Aiden, I think, maybe disappointed at P5. He didn't get a final run, as it were, on his lap, so I don't think he'll be too happy with that. Kyle finished in P6. I think Kyle will be he'll be satisfied with that, to be honest. Knighton P7. I think he'll be satisfied as well. There, Panos P8, Andy in P9. Of course, I think he's got a good position. He will have to start on those soft tyres, of course, and obviously there'll be. I will say before we get into this, there is a probably very high chance of a safety car. It's Spain. A lot of people are going to be, all over the place on lap 1, and with the high rate of safety cars on this game since the patches, it's definitely high. And there we go again, a rundown. Matt Tibos gets pole by half a second. Corey, even though Matt Tibos DNF'd, it was not a good one, really. And I will actually just say as well, obviously on stream while we're getting it, okay, this is the championship standings at present before tonight's races. So obviously, as you can see there, it's all still relatively close, I'd say. Machine Fish has a bit of a gap, so starting P3, it's not too bad. And there's quite a few battles going on throughout the standings. I think the biggest one is Andy and Jack. Obviously, Andy wanting to outscore Jack throughout the season. And to be fair, I think he can do it. So far he's looking really good, to be honest with yourself. But we will see as we are loading up. And it is a dry race, so that is fantastic. Obviously, not a cloud in the sky, it seems, from this camera. And I will point out, tyre wear, as far as I'm aware, I don't think it's great, but it's not too bad. It's not as bad as the likes of China, where tyre wear is horrendous. It will be softs and mediums. I think it's a gamble if you get damage on the first few laps. Chances are it's going to be a safety car. It's going to be a gamble whether you go on hards if the safety car comes out so early in the race. But we will see. Obviously, a few seconds then preparing for the lights to go out. Everyone getting prepped. There we go then. Everyone on the grid. 3 lights, 4 lights, and 5 lights. They're getting ready. And there we go. Away. And Ginger Andy's already got a jump start. Andy's already got a jump start penalty. And there's a Williams on the grass there. And there's a Red Bull. There's a lot of lag there. Red Bull is spun already, and that is Jack Pearson. So Jack Pearson's already had a bad moment. Matt Tibos keeps in the lead. Obviously, there's a fight there for P3. It's Machine Fishy and Khalifa, of course. So that is a good little battle there. And Machine Fishy does keep it there. A bit of tussle. And Ginger Andy's actually already up to P5. He did jump the start, that I will point out, so he will have to serve that jump start penalty. And there we go then. So the top 3 do get ahead. Obviously, nice and clean there. There's actually there's a Red Bull and a Mercedes of Ginger Andy and Aiden side by side. Andy up the inside, bit of contact there, obviously between the 2 drivers. I think Andy running it a bit too hot into there, but nothing too bad. And Aiden's then coming back up the inside at this next corner, thinking about it. Andy obviously giving him just enough room, but now Phil Bardwell is right behind this squabbling battle and almost losing it, actually. Phil Bardwell, and there's actually a crash. There's 2 cars. There's 2 cars. I don't know which ones. There's 3 cars. I don't know. There's too many cars. Paul McGuinness has spun it. Jack Pearson, obviously 11 seconds down from that. And there is a safety car. So while that safety car is going on, I'm actually quickly going to go to the toilet. So bear with me. Obviously, nothing too major while the safety car is out. So I will be right back. And I'm back. So nothing clearly interesting happened all in the safety car. I will say though, the top guys, top three, have not pitted, whereas I think everyone else pretty much has. And let's actually take a look at that stops. Yep, there we go. Everyone, other than the top three, have stopped. So that's all right. And let's have a look. Let's have a look at the tyres. Can we see the tyres there? So there we go. So everyone's on the mediums. Obviously, Andy and Panos, as well as Paul, Jay, Luke, and Kyle. All on the hards. So that's an interesting one. Will that work out? I think the tyres, the guys on the mediums are going to, I think, struggle on those mediums. Again, tyre is not the greatest around here, but it's not as bad as China, let's just say that. And there we go then. So Dan has pitted, obviously both Hatton. I'm not really too sure about this strategy myself. Obviously, I'm hearing a few pundits are thinking, what the F is Dan doing? Because to be honest with yourself, you're going to drop to the back of the field. I think one of them should have pitted before that happened there. So I think the safety car may come in this lap, and nothing's happened at the front. Obviously, Matt Tibos, Corey, and Machine Fishy still will be the first three who have stopped. Again, Robo Jeep and Jack Craig have not pitted as of yet. Again, I'm not too sure why not. It's a risk, to be honest with yourself. Obviously with that, and let's just take a look at position changes, shall we, as well. So Robo Jeep and Jack Craig, of course, have gained it 12 and 13 places thanks to everyone else pitting. Obviously, people are going to lose positions. Obviously, the top 3rd to 7th, of course, because they did start higher up the grid than where they currently are. Phil Barnesville up to 2 grid places at the moment as well, so that's not a bad start for himself. I think it could have been a lot better, obviously, for him, but that is 4 places, taking out the top 2 who again have not pitted. Paul McGuinness, I think, even though Paul did have that instance that we saw in the background on the top of Campsa, as Djani obviously gets a 5-second penalty for exceeding travel limits, not sure how under a safety car, so that's an interesting one. But yeah, obviously Paul gaining places even after that incident-packed first lap in the safety car is coming in. And what we're going to do, we're going to stay with the likes of Corey and Machine Fishy just for the start of this restart, see what they're going to do, see how quick they get past the top 2, obviously Panos and Jack Craig. Will they try and defend? Will Robo Jeep and Jack Craig try and defend? I think they've got to be honest with yourself, because if they let them go, they still have to pit. They're going to lose so much time anyway. I think their strategies are already ruined, unless there's another safety car, of course. They've got nothing to lose really, and let's see what they do. And I think Panes has bolted then through the final corner, and I think it's getting a bit tasty. Matt Tibos already looking at the back of Jack Craig. Will Jack Craig go defensive, or will he do? And let's have a look. No, he doesn't. He goes very defensive there, Jack Craig. That was very, very close, very on the limit there. And then Corey, I think, is going to have a double slipstream there. Will Corey? And no, he's not quite close enough, obviously. And let's have a look then. Matt Tibos round the outside of Jack Craig. Perfect move there. And now Corey needs to get past as quickly as he can, because he don't want to let Matt Tibos gain obviously more time on him again. Corey is probably looking to really fight. And he's trying to go around the outside. Corey is. Let's have a look. He thinks about it. Jack Craig trying to push him to the limit there, but he does go around the outside. Absolutely perfect by Corey there. Again, just what he needed. And now it's time for Machine Fishy. Machine Fishy already up the inside as well, thanks to that move. Matt Tibos in P2. Or we're looking at to make a move on Robo Jeep for that race lead. And actually, Panos has gone off. Obviously, Robo Jeep even. Robo Jeep off. So that's obviously not... Doesn't need to worry about that. And Machine Fishy has dropped down to 5th. He was caught out by that. But now Aiden's ahead of Machine Fishy. So that really did cost Machine Fishy, a track position there, and another place. And Aiden, I think, is running quite a lot of downforce there. And here we go then, the 2 best mates, Jack Craig and Aiden Griffins. Will Jack Craig defend from Aiden? I think he probably will again. He's got to do this. He really has. And actually, let's get rid then of that. And let's go back to the intervals there, as Aiden really pushing Jack Craig round that final corner. Matt Tibos does set the fast lap, but he's only half a second ahead of Corey already. So Corey, already reeling in Matt Tibos, but we've seen quite a few times there. And there we go then, is Aiden going up the inside. He's thinking about it. A Machine Fish trying to go around the outside. A Machine Fish around the outside. What a perfect move from Machine Fisher there. Clean, tidy. And he gets around. There's a McLaren off. There's a McLaren off there. Speed 9 on the background has already spun it, so not to worry there. I don't think that will bring out any sort of safety car. And here we go, the Machine Fishy and Jack Craig then. Is he going to do anything? Let's have a look then. Thinking about around the outside, and this is costing Machine Fishy quite dear. He needs to get past very, very soon because there's already a 2 and a bit second gap to those front two. And Machine Fishy, again, is the championship leader, of course. He wants to get past quick. Obviously, I think will DRS be open this lap? I don't think it will be. Noting is Machine Fishy getting very careful there. And as things stand, 11 points separating the top 3 in the championship. And Machine Fishy thinking about going around the outside again. Not quite there. It's very dangerous to go around the outside there, and he needs to be very careful of that. Obviously, at the moment, again, I think Jack Craig's tied. And Matt Tibos is off. Matt Tibos has crashed. He's done it again. He's bowled it under. I can't swear. And he's just stopped. He's not getting going. What's he doing? He's just sat there. Get going. And Corey sets a fast lap. So, Matt, I don't know what's going on here. I just don't know. And then Machine Fishy, I don't really care for this at the moment. We're going to go with Machine Fishy. Is he on Jack Craig? Is he going to go in? No, he's not quite close enough. Aiden, again, sitting pretty, sitting back, not really. And there we go, the Machine Fishy then, round the outside of turn 3. Jack Craig is going to hold him round as Machine Poop Cannon, and actually Machine Fishy there goes off the track. Will that be, did he complete the, that move? It's hard to say really, but here we go. Then is Aiden going to try and get back? And actually, here he is, Aiden, and actually there we go then. So Jack Craig, and making a bit of a mistake there is Khalifa thinking about it as well, but pulling it out there. So we will see then. It's now Khalifa's turn on Jack Craig. This is pretty much the closest battle on the circuit at the moment. I'll see Phil another 8/10 behind. I think, will Khalifa make it easy? Will Jack Craig make it hard? That is the question. Jack Craig's tyres must be, starting to struggle now as he does get DRS, of course. But no, not a move this time around. So it's going to be an interesting one. Again, Khalifa is there or thereabouts in the championship. Of course, he is in that top 5 at the moment. So, a bit of a wobble there for Khalifa. He needs to be very careful again. He's made too many mistakes already this season. And, he nearly hits the back of Jack Craig there. And that has allowed Phil Bardwell to get that slipstream there. And let's have a look at this, shall we? Nice helicopter shot. That is beautiful. And here we go then. And now Jack Craig will not have DRS on Aiden, I think. He's a bit of a weave there. Is Khalifa close enough? No, he's not. He's going to dive up the inside. He's thinking about it. Not quite, but that's put him offline. Phil Bardwell's going to have a better exit through turn 2. And he's got a penalty there, so that's not good. Phil Bardwell around the outside. Not quite there. But Phil Bardwell is tasting blood. He's like a shark. He's like an old shark. He's about 80 there. And actually, Dan the Man and Paul side by side through turn 3. Obviously, for the final point there. And is he going to... very close. And I must point out, Paul is on those hard tyres, whereas Dan the Man... And, there's a bit of lag there from Dan the Man. So that's an interesting one. I think it might be just on my screen. Again, we do have this issue every so often, but no issues so far in terms of the actual battle there. And there we go then. So Paul is past then. That is perfectly fine then. Let's have a look then. I'll see for the battle for P4. Khalifa still behind Jack Craig then. Still behind, and he actually runs it slightly wide there. And actually Machine Fishy, 3.5 seconds to Corey. Will he close that gap down? I think it's going to be a big ask, to be honest with yourself. But if he can do it, then he can do it then. And Jack Pearson at the moment is in the points, while Ginger Andy is 16th and out of them. And really, I think Jack Craig's really struggling out of that chicane because he's really going really slow. I think it's catching Khalifa out, and that's also meaning that Khalifa can't get close enough then. And here we go, both got DRS on Jack Craig. Jack Craig really weaving. He needs to be very careful of that. And is he going to go up the inside? Khalifa is thinking about it. He's going up the inside. Jack Craig closes the door, and Khalifa's almost round. I think that was very, very dangerous, and Phil is through on Khalifa. Will he keep... is he going to... thinking about it. Yep. I thought Phil Bardwell was going to turn in there, but is Khalifa going to come back at the next corner at turn 4? He's thinking about it. Not quite close enough, but Phil does miss the apex very slightly, as there is a yellow flag, as there is I think it's speed 9 at turn 2, as you can see on the map, but that's not important at the moment, of course. Jack Craig really doing a service to Aiden Griffins and the front 3, of course, allowing them to get back. And actually, I must point out, with regards to that, even though Matt Tibos has just set the fast lap, he is down in 16th, 30 seconds off P15, of course. So he's still a mile off at the moment, and that is a shocking camera angle, of course. But let's see then, and this is again still the closest battle. I think Paul is not far behind Jack, 2 attempts, but we're going to stay with this battle for P4 because this is the most tasty and the most juicy one on the circuit at the moment, of course. And onto the main straight through the final chicane they go. Phil riding a lot of curb there, as we can see in his Toro Rosso. You need to do that, of course. But here we go then. Is he going to weave again? Jack Craig needs to be very careful of that. Obviously, and there we go. He's starting to weave. But here we go. I think Phil's going to have him this time. Is he going to go around the outside? I think he's going to try it. Oh, very close there. Very close. He's thinking about it around the outside. Aiden gets penalty. Oh, Phil, not quite. And oh, there's contact. There's contact the both round. And there we go then. Panos has gained from that. You know, I think that was a difficult one. I think it was, I don't really want to say whose fault that was, but I think it was a difficult one there, and there is a virtual safety car. Will this allow the likes of, you know, Matt Tibos to pit? Speed 9 is already in the pit, so Speed 9 is not going to lose as much. However, I think a lot of these guys, the virtual safety car will be back in by the time these guys come round to the pits. And I must say, Machine Fishy has lost another 3 seconds over the course of the last few laps. So Machine Fishy, I think, not quite having it his own way. However, he is in P2 in the championship, so you know it's not too far. And Corey, as things stand, will be 1 point behind. And there we go. Then the safety car, virtual safety car, has ended. But 1 point will be separating the top two there. And here we go then. So P5 and P4 side by side. Is Luca going to go around the outside? He is. Is he going to hold it there? Not quite close. He's going to have the outside line. And he's going it. And he's done it. Well done for Mr. Chiapelli there. And then here we go. Then Phil Bardwell is thinking about it. No, Phil Bardwell holds off. Didn't quite have it there. And there we go then. Khalifa is in the pits. And here we go then. Panos having to defend. Doesn't really defend that hard from Phil. And Phil is through nice and easy there. And now it's pretty much down to Phil to catch Luca. I think Phil does have the pace on Luca. However, they need to keep it clean. I think Phil lost out quite heavily in that melee last lap at this corner, so he needs to be very careful. I don't think he's got any wing damage, luckily. I don't think any of them have, except Khalifa, of course, who sadly, you know, went, well, he didn't have anywhere to go, to be fair. I think the big loser was, of course, Jack Craig, who is in the pits in 15th. So it's, you know, it could go either way. I think Phil wasn't quite alongside. It was his front wing, and you know, I think there may be a bit of a spat, you know, later on. You never know, really. But here we go then, and let's go down. Obviously, Matt Tibos on Khalifa. Obviously, these guys are fighting for the title, or attempting to, of course. So I think Khalifa won't want to really let Matt Tibos go straight away, but I think they're not scoring any points at the moment, and you know, Khalifa is 11 seconds behind Andy, and that they're quite far behind the points paying position. So it's another 17 or 7-8 seconds, obviously, to get into the points there. So not really what they want, and you know, it's a massive shame. I think, you know, in all the scenes that Matt Tibos has done, he's been consistent. He has been consistent. And here we go then, Phil weaving there, as you can see. Again, Phil needs to be very careful of that. Obviously, same with Jack Craig, it can cause a few issues, obviously, with that. So Phil better watch out for that, and watch out for the stewards, because they will not be happy with that weaving, to be honest with yourself. But as I was saying, Matt Tibos has been very consistent throughout the last few seasons. I think since he joined, really, you know, the TGP. I think it was F1 2016. I think he joined F1 16-17, and he's been there or thereabouts, of course, the entire time. And I've never really seen him make so many mistakes in a season. You know, I don't know if he's just not been playing the game since last season. I think that is a big one, to be honest with yourself. Obviously, people do get rusty, of course. You know, they stop sweating as much, stop practicing as much, of course. And here we go then. And oh, there's a lot of incidents there. Machine Fishy, I think, has spun it as well there. But we're going to stay with House and Mr. Chiapelli, as it's getting tasty between these guys. The fight for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, of course, with obviously Carl and Corey is the new championship leader, as Aiden is in P2. So Corey is bringing it back, and you know, with these two, I think it's interesting because Corey has been doing a lot of sweat, whereas Machine Fish has done no sweat for tonight. So that's an interesting one. Here we go then. Chiapelli on Panos. Chiapelli going around the outside. Is he going to think about it? No. Panos there holding the inside. But Mr. Chiapelli around the outside of turn 2. Up the inside of turn 3. So that was very good for Mr. Chiapelli. And it would be... bit of contact there. Bit of contact between Mr. Chiapelli and Panos. And Panos is off into the gravel. Basically done a Lewis Hamilton from 2010. So that is not good there That is not good. And as things stand in this position, Andy, I think, and Jack will be level on points. So this could be Jack's opportunity to score maximum points on Andy, of course. So we will see. It's very important for Jack to not bottle it. He's used to bottling it, to be honest with yourself, with that there. But it's going to be very important then. We're actually going to go on board with Andy, or Jack, should I say, as Dan is on Jack. Jack not really going defensive, to be honest with yourself, but he backs out of it. Jack running very hot there, but he keeps that position. Obviously, he actually decides to stay off the circuit more just to get that traction, which is a bit naughty, but he needs to be careful of that. But no harm done that time around, of course. And Jack needs to think of staying in Chiapelli's slipstream and getting that DRS, because it's very important. Obviously, Jack doesn't do very well under pressure at all, and he is massively under pressure. And here we go then. Jack does have, obviously, the slipstream and DRS. So does Dan, though. And actually, Dan can't quite get close enough there. But Kyle, pretty far back. He's not going to challenge for that move either. And that is very interesting there. But, you know, I think Machine Fishy going back to the fourth front, should I say, 2.1 behind Aiden. You know, he could potentially, obviously, gain that if he's not got any damage, of course. But, you know, yet again in TGP1, an action-packed race, which is fantastic to see, to be honest with yourself. You know, multiple different potential winners, good little fights up and down the field. It is absolutely fantastic to see, and I do like to see it. I do. Matt Tibos then obviously moved up to P14, still right behind Khalifa. So I think Khalifa might be running quite a fair amount lesser downforce than Matt Tibos. But here we go then. 3 attempts down the man is not quite close enough against Jack Pearson. And again, the slipstream and the DRS from Chiapelli in front of him is really helping Jack to stay. And actually, Jack's and this group are actually closing on Mr. Chiapelli this last few corners. So Jack may actually be able to attack Luca going onto this main straight. But he needs to be careful again, not trying any dastardly moves. He needs to be careful of that, of course. And here we go then. On to the main straight. Jack has 50% ERS. Luca only has 27, of course. And here we go then. Will Luca go defensive? He's in the middle of the circuit. Bit of a slight weave there, but nothing to worry about. And Luca must be running some fairly little downforce. And Jack around the outside there. And that needs to be careful. And then Dan the man trying to think about going up this inside of Jack as well. Very, very close. Obviously, Carl is having a very good view of this battle. And obviously, he's keeping his powder dry, I reckon, Carl, for this moment in time. And Dan thinking about around the outside of Jack. And he's thinking about it. But this corner does tighten up quite a lot. Not quite there. And will he go up the inside of this next corner? No, he thinks about it, though. You can see him a bit of a weave there. And Kyle trying to go around the outside of Dan the man then. He is on the hards, though, Kyle, so I think his times will be better. Obviously, go around. And Kyle has actually gone on the outside of Dan the man then. Fantastic. I think Dan the man either just got scared, backed out of it, or he had a bad run there. So that is fantastic. And here we go then. Oh, is Kyle going to attack Jack? He's thinking about it. He's going up the inside. Not quite. Jack gives him just enough room. And again, this is costing Jack time. Of course. And I am hearing, obviously, Aiden does have a 3-second penalty, which does mean Machine Fishy will finish in P2, which I do believe will keep him 1 point ahead as far as I'm aware of Corey. So that's good for himself there then. So here we go then. Kyle on Jack Pearson. Again, Jack Pearson does have DRS, but it's going to be all for nothing. Kyle up the inside, keeping it nice and clean. And Jack Pearson's tyres are really struggling. However, Jack stays around the outside. Good defensive move there for Jack Pearson. And again, he's not known for good moves, to be honest with yourself. He's more known for, well, no moves at all, but that was good move from Jack Pearson, of course. And this is allowing Mr. Chiapelli to start stretching his gap. 7 tenths now. I think as soon as Mr. Chiapelli gets out of the DRS range, obviously from Jack, I think Jack's going to really start struggling to defend against these two behind, of course. And again, I think the best placed driver is Kyle on those hard tyres, of course. His tyres will be loving this stage of the race, while I think Jack Pearson's and Dan the Man's will not. And here we go then. Is he going to make a move? Will Jack go defensive? Actually, Carl thinks better of it. He stays around the outside, stays on the racing line. I think he's going to wait until that main straight, but Jack Pearson is just about keeping Mr. Chiapelli honest. And obviously not really getting out that DRS zone as Mr. Chiapelli is, Is it a tactic? I don't think so, to be honest. I think Luca's just struggling just enough that's allowing Jack to keep in that gap, of course. And here we go then, around the final corner. And actually, Jack has Obviously, you pulled away slightly with that, and yeah, it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment for Kyle and Dan the Man, but not quite close enough for either of them. I think I have noticed Kyle is going sort of lifting off quite a lot over that left hand after the hairpin, so I think that's cost him a possible chance to really attack Jack onto the main straight, of course. But here we go then. So now I'm hearing Machine Fishy is all over Aiden, but we're going to stick with this battle because, to be honest, at the moment Machine Fishy is going to get past Aiden, even if they don't have a battle on track, as you know. So we're not already going to focus on that too much at the moment. And I am hearing the move. No, I think Machine Fishy is just playing it safe there. As Dan the Man gets a penalty. Not what he wants. Not what he wants there. J. Luke is only 1.5 seconds behind. So as it stands, Dan the Man will drop, I think, 2 places because Panos is right there. And Khalifa and Andy and Matt all going for it. So it's a fight for P12, P13 and P14. And it's also a fight for P5 at 6, 7, 8 and 9. As actually Panos has gone, I think, around the outside. As actually J. Luke has spun it. So that's allowed Paul into the final point position. So obviously not really what J. Luke needs. And here we go then back onto the main straight. Is Machine Fishy has now got past of Aiden for P2. And here we go then. Will Kyle get Jack Pearson then? It's looking tasty. Again, Jack Pearson got that DRS. Kyle and Dan the Man cannot do anything at this moment in time. So obviously not really what you want then. And here we go then onto the main straight then. Obviously Khalifa behind Andy, Matt behind Khalifa. Khalifa going to the outside, Andy going very defensive. Will Matt Tibos get up the inside into turn 1? I think he's thinking about it. He backs off there, and Khalifa is through to P12. Andy staying in P13 at the moment. But will Matt Tibos get a better run through this turn 3? There's a lot of understeer there, so that's really going to cost him. He doesn't get a chance there. And actually Dan the Man and Panos, and Dan the Man's off. Dan the Man has spun it, and that's allowed Paul into P9. So that is 2 places for Paul, thanks to spinners. And actually, now Dan the Man is out of the point. So Dan the Man's ties, I think, are absolutely done and dusted then. And Matt and Andy side by side onto this fast chicane. And there we go then. Is he up the inside? Andy holding it around the outside. Very good from Andy, as Corey has won, of course. So that's fantastic for him. That's 1 point, obviously, difference there. Obviously 5th, 6th and 7th. There's not really a battle for these guys at the moment, so that is going to be as it is. Of course, we're going to go back to Andy, and here we go then. We're going to actually go back with Matt Tibos and Ginger Andy. Is that right? Andy very defensive there, very defensive. Is Matt Tibos, and Andy goes very defensive there. He's staying defensive. Fantastic defending moves from Andy there. And is Matt Tibos going to try and line him up across the line? I think he's but and Matt Tibos actually completely cuts that corner there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I really don't. Is it going to be? It's going to be very close there, and Andy takes it, of course. However, Matt Tibos, due to penalties, does get P12 from Khalifa and Andy, of course. And here we go then. So there's no battle at all for 15th and 16th. So I think that's pretty much the racing done and dust for Spain. And Matt does get the fastest lap as well there. So it is, and actually, the McLaren of Knight in there crashes across the line. I think he's got a special habit of doing that in 16th place. But then we're going to take a look at the podium. I think a few drivers will be very happy, obviously, with their podiums. I think a few drivers will be very disappointed there. So, as we can see, the Alfa Romeo, yet again, another win. I think Machine Fish will be very disappointed with that. Obviously, he was right with Corey for the majority of that first part of the race. And there we go then. Yet again, 3 different manufacturers on the podium. So then, there we go, spraying that champagne. Very happy again. Yet another win there, of course. And there we go. They're probably getting up for the... they're getting ready for the photos, of course. And here we go then. Here is the rundown of the field. Corey, P1. He did start P2. Machine Fishy, a good recovery to P2, of course. Aiden Griffins is a P3, so I think he'd be very happy with that. Say he was 5th. Phil Bardwell started 10th. He's 4th. Very good there. Chiapelli, first points of the season, I believe, as well. So that's fantastic for Luca there. Carl, P6. P7 for Panos. Jack Pearson, P8. His first points of the season. So that's fantastic there. J. Luke, P9. Paul P10, Dan very disappointed for P11, Matt Tibos no points for that race yet again, having a few incidents there. Khalifa P13, Andy 14, RoboJeep 15, Knight and P16, Jack Craig and Magic Poop Cannon of course as well there. And that is your racing for Spain. And now then, it is time of course in just a few minutes for Singapore. And there we go then. So that was the race. That was the race, of course, there. And the points then, after that race, so Fishy is 164 points. Corey is 163, so a good recovery there. Obviously, again, Corey did a lot of sweat. Machine Fishy did none. Matt Tibos is in third on 125. Aiden is on 99, my favourite number. Khalifa 97. And Kyle now has, obviously, moved into P6 on 86. So that is a good set of results there for a lot of those drivers. But it is going to be an interesting Singapore, I reckon. Singapore is going to be interesting. Is it going to rain? Is it going to be dry? Of course. If it rains, I think there could be a lot of casualty, of course, when it comes to just attrition of the whole race. Singapore's hard in the day. Well, not in the day, in the dry, should I say. But if it's wet, it's even more difficult. Singapore tyre wear is not good. I do say Singapore, the best tyre strategy to do for a lot of drivers, if they want a good shot of the win, is the opposite strategy. However, that is the fastest strategy. If the safety car comes out, though, your strategy is pretty much ruined. So it's a difficult, as it were, call. You can either go for the optimal strategy, the faster strategy of the mediums to softs. But if you do that and the safety car comes out, it's going to be very difficult. And actually, no, you know what? I'd say that still is the best strategy. Last season, it was a wet qualifying to a dry qualifying. Obviously, with that, and I do believe, for example, Matt Tibos, I believe it was last season, went for the opposite, mediums to softs, and it paid off massively. The softs tyres, I think you pit usually lap 3 to lap 4 if you start on softs. So I think a lot of people should start on mediums. It is the best strategy, whether or not, it's difficult. It really is. It's a very difficult call. I'm not going to say what people should do. However, that is the best strategy, to be honest with yourself. And 20 seconds before the session starts, we're going to see who has the balls to the wall at Singapore. Singapore's not a circuit you want to be cautious on. Every grid position counts. And also, I will say, one special driver who has joined for this race, as we scroll down, Jovial Manatee, the Sea Cow, has made his return to TGP1 for this season, so moo moo. It should be an interesting one. He's only just got F1 2019 yet again. He did actually get rid of it quite a few months ago, so I think he's going to be very rusty. He has been doing a lot of sweat on the F2004 to try and beat down the man's time in time trial with that car. He's about a second off, so he's not going very well so far. But we'll see. It's Singapore. Anything can happen, and it usually does. There we go. We're just waiting for Jack Craig to ready up. And then we will get qualifying underway. Is it going to be wet? Is it going to be dry? I think a lot of people will be hoping for it to be dry. Again, Singapore does not want people to do that. And let's have a look then. What is it going to show? And it is dry qualifying. It is a dry qualifying session. But what is the race going to be like? Is the race going to be wet? Is it going to be dry? I am hearing from my pit lane reporters it is going to be drier than a woman's pussy. So, it's dry. No chance of rain, which is fantastic for a lot of people. They are just going to go balls to the walls. Don't worry about different wing settings. I mean, wings pretty high, 9, 10, 7, 8 roughly wing level for this circuit. You don't want too much downforce because then you'll be a sitting duck on the DRS straights, and you don't really want too little downforce because then you'll be too slow around the rest of the circuit. So it's very important to get that balance. So then, a few cars heading out on track. I think that's a Mercedes, a McLaren as well. Obviously, we've got an Alfa Romeo there, a Ferrari coming out as well there, as I think Matt Tibos may be coming out early. Obviously, Kyle there is the first on track, so obviously he's fantastic there then. Obviously, Dan the man is out as well, as we can see, so it's just the calm before the storm. And sadly, there's no storm, so that's always an interesting one. Obviously, Corey is out in his Alfa Romeo, of course, so it's going to be a case of Kyle, Dan the man, Paul, and Corey are the first 4 drivers out on the track. And will Matt Tibos do his usual thing this season, where he waits and towards the end of the session before he does his lap? I don't think it's a good strategy. And actually, let's just take a look at what tyres people have got on. Matt Tibos is sitting in the pits, but he's on the mediums at the moment. Paul is on his outlap on the mediums, and Miss Chiapelli is on his outlap on the mediums as well. Everyone else, as you can see at the moment, on outlaps and in the pits, are all on the soft tyres, the red marked wall tyres at the moment. But again, better strategy is mediums to softs. If there's a safety car, though, that is your strategy ruined. And I think there's always been a safety car or a virtual safety car at every single race this season due to that patch that came out not long ago. So it's a difficult one. It really is. If it pays off, there's no safety car, you are looking absolutely pretty at a win. But I would not trust it. I would not trust it in my honest opinion. Here we go then. Kyle around the final corner to start the first flying lap of the Singapore Grand Prix of season 33, of course. Through turn 1 then, avoids the curb there. And I can see, I think Jack Pearson is off already on the map, as you can see, but we're going to stick with Kyle as he goes on to the DRS straight, using all the curb and obviously all the road there, avoiding the wall on the right, as we see Mercedes on an outlap as well. I think that may be Magic Poop Cannon ahead of him, so hopefully he does get out of the way and does see that he's on lap. And I will say, Kyle has a purple first sector, of course, is the only one that's done the first sector, so that's no surprise there, but we're going to give him a bit of airtime, of course. Kyle doesn't usually get too much airtime in qualifying, of course. And here we go then. He's getting a bit of a slipstream from, obviously, Magic Poop Cannon ahead, but will he see? Will he get out of the way? Hopefully he does. Oh, he's not really getting out of the way. Oh, that's very close. Obviously, very close with that. I don't think Kyle will be too pleased with that, to be honest with yourself. And there is a yellow flag. I think that's just people in the final sector, obviously trying to get slipstreams, and Kyle then purple middle sector. And actually, Matt Tibos is out on an outlap, so that is fantastic for him there. So that's a good thing. He's getting out relatively early, and that does probably say to myself that he's going to go on the soft tyres than Matt Tibos is. I think you'd want to save your last run for the tyre you want to set. As Dom Smith has disconnected, he's not a racer, don't worry, he's just my pit lane reporter, so not a loss really in terms of racing, should I say. But then here we go then, Kyle around the final corner, and shock horror, he goes quickest with the first time of a 1 minute 36.322. Obviously purple in all sectors then. And there we go. Corey, of course, instantly sets a 35.3, so an instant second straight away quicker. But we're actually going to go with Matt Tibos then, as he has set the purple first sector, I believe, on the mediums. So that's an interesting one. Already going very quickly on those mediums, but again, it can sometimes be dodgy when you come to obviously switching spectators. Obviously through the old Singapore sling he comes up to there. There is a yellow flag ahead. So I think Jack Pearson, that is the Red Bull, losing his wing ahead. He needs to keep out of the way, and here he goes then. I'll see over the Anderson Bridge, I believe that is. And there we go, getting very close to that wall. Needs to keep it off. I'll see the wall there. He does. He actually keeps it very close to that wall. I sort of try and keep on the circuit because of the dust. Breaks here, and he's actually gone purple sector 2, I believe, as well, as Machine Fisher does a 35.2 then. And here we go through this nice little section of corners. I do like this final sector of Singapore. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left on to the main straight under the grandstand here. Getting very close to the wall. He actually taps it there, which puts him a bit offline. Takes a lot of curb here. Avoid the wall on the left. Obviously a lot of curb there and a lot of curb on here as well. Avoid the wall. Obviously, try and take as much speed through this final corner as you possibly can. And I think he might actually go quickest here as well. Actually, no, he goes P5, so a 35.8 on those mediums. So he will be wanting to run again as Phil Bargewell is ahead of him. However, Matt Dibos has done a lap. He's backed off, so that's not an issue there. Magic Poop Cannon then around the final corner. He is currently in P12, no time set, and he stays P12 on a 38.4. And then it is a case of who is the next person to start a lap. It's going to be Mr. Chiapelli in my Renault from last season. So let's see what he can do on his lap, of course. Obviously, he did relatively well last race out. Of course, I think he'll be satisfied with that result, but now it's down to performing once again for the second time in a night. He avoids the right-hand side of the circuit. I always usually trying to get as much of an fast entry as possible, and he's actually already invalidated his lap on the exit of turn 3 there, so obviously not good for himself. Then we're actually going to go with Panos then. He was looking for a good race last race out, but it conspired against him, I guess. A few little incidents there, safety cars didn't really suit, I guess, but let's take a look. Then he avoids the curb on the right hand side, avoids it on the left, which is what you're wanting to do, of course. And let's see what his first sector is going to be. Is it going to be up on his time? Obviously, he hasn't set a time, so it can't be really. Avoids that curb. He has set a purple first sector, though, it shows on that map, so it's looking good so far. It is looking good so far. Again, I am probably going to say pole low to mid 34, I reckon. I have noticed Singapore, previous seasons, and especially last season, the track conditions can vary so widely that you can do one lap, and the next lap you do, you could be a second off, and it felt better. So it's a difficult track to one, nail, and two, to just get that rhythm round and just get the laps in. So it's going to be interesting to see sort of who is able to perform, of course. Obviously, under these difficult conditions, again, it is a fully dry race as well, so you don't need to worry about sort of compromising your setup. And here we go then. So there's no purple middle sector. So he has, I think, lost a fair bit of time potentially. But around the final few corners, the penultimate corner then, keeps it out of the wall on the right hand side. And here we go. Will he ride a lot of curb? He rides a lot of curb there. That's what you need to do. And across the line, and he goes from 15th to P10. So he is on the mediums, though. I will point out he is on those medium tyres. Obviously, Panos is in P10 there, so that's fantastic for him. And I reckon then, so Corey is coming towards the end of his outlap. We're actually going to watch Corey then. So again, he's I think only 1 point behind Machine Fishy then. After obviously the last race, it's very close between these two. Again, Machine Fish done no sweat for tonight's races. Corey has done a bucket load. I can smell him from here, to be honest with yourself. And I think we live in completely different parts of the UK, so it's a pretty potent smell, I must say. So here we go then. Starting his lap. What is he going to do? Let's see. Let's take you through it then. So is he going to go wide? Yes, he is. He's using more of that yellow side. Rides a lot of the curb there. Turn 2, turn 3. Then he's got a Mercedes of Ginger Andy ahead. Ginger Andy gets out of the way. Nice little exit from the obviously the first complex there. Using all the track, all the curb on there as well. Avoiding that wall on the left. And let's take a look. Then he might get a bit of a slipstream from that car ahead, which is a Williams, I believe. There's a Rebel out the way there as well. Aidan Griffins, that's fantastic. And it's not actually showing a delta of his lap. It's just showing out lap there. So, but this is his hot lap. But he has J. Luke ahead of him. And I think, is J. Luke on lap? It's hard to say. And yes, he must be obviously on an out lap there. So that's fine. Bit distracting there for Corey, but I don't think it'll cost him too much time. Use all the curb on this left-hand side. Keeps it in third. Keeps it in fourth. Ride a lot of this curb. Third, fourth, short shift as much as you can. Very easy to lose your rear over this bridge. Avoid the wall on the right. Avoid the curb on the left usually. Just get it straight as fast as you can and power on short shift if absolutely necessary, of course. Obviously, 100-metre boards, hit the brakes or just after. Avoid the curb on the right side. He takes a bit of the curb. Avoid this white line. If you go too far left, it will invalidate your lap. Again, it's all about riding the curbs at this circuit, shortening that line. Maybe could have took a bit more curb there. Again, ride all this curb on the left. He doesn't ride it quite as much as I probably would. Avoid this wall on the left. It's very easy to mount that little curb on the left-hand side there, but yeah, I think he's a bit out of shape there. Didn't quite ride the curb on the right-hand side, but we will see then what is he going to do. He rides a lot of curve at the final corner, full throttle, and he goes into P1 and a 35.1. He improves by a 10th there, but Machine Fishy then, we'll go with Machine Fishy. He is currently on a lap. He's nearly a 10th up on his current lap, so he's looking to potentially take back that P1. The Speed Knighton does get out of the way there, good from himself there. There is a yellow flag, but that is just Knighton. Gets very close to that wall, and here we go then. He rides a lot of curve, and I think he may have actually backed out of it potentially. It's hard to say, obviously with the sounds of this game. And is he trying? We'll see. We'll see when it comes up to this next sector split, if it shows us, of course, to see whether or not. Obviously he does well, and obviously Corey, obviously at the moment is on pole by 10th, and he does go purple. Sector 2 does Machine Fishy, so he is up on the fastest middle sector at the moment, which I do believe is Corey, of course. So there we go then. So Machine Fishy is still on it. Let's see how he takes this. Perfect. That is what you need to do there. Take a lot of curb. Maybe take a bit more curb on that right-hand side. Take a lot of curb on this right-hander and the left-hander. Take a lot of curb on the exit. He gets a bit out of shape there, a bit of unsettlement there, but I don't think it will cost him too much. And let's see then, where does he go? Avoid running wide as it will cost you. And he goes a 34.8 then. So that is the fastest lap at present. So then, we'll take a look and see who is next. I think Panos is there, and Jack Pearson is last. So at the moment, it will be Panos who will be. But we're actually going to go with Matt Dibos, as he is coming towards the end of his flying lap. He's currently P5 and has actually just invalidated his lap there, so not what he wants to. So I think he's diving straight into the pit, so that's fine. Aidan Griffin's on a lap then in his Red Bull, I believe. And no, he's backed out of that, so he has got wing damage, Aidan, I am hearing, so he'll jump straight into those pits to get a new wing. And he had traffic there then. Phil also invalidated his lap, so he'll be coming into the pits there. A lot of people invalidating the laps. Let's go with Magic Poop Cannon, shall we? Magic Poop Cannon then. We'll see through the final few corners then. Where will he go? He's currently P16. Obviously not last. Jovial Manatee in 17 is on the hards. Not got a clue why. Probably getting his eye in at present, of course. Again, he's not really played these cars or even done this track, and Magic Poop Cannon dives into the pits there. I remember a few seasons ago, me and Phil, I think, both had incidents coming in and out of the pits, which isn't fantastic. Obviously, with that there, Jack Pearson has invalidated his lap currently, but it is an out lap, I believe, at the moment. Has he got a wing? Yeah, he does have a wing, so that's fine. So Jack Pearson is going to start his lap then. We'll go on board with that. And let's just take a look. Jack Pearson is last at the moment, so he wants to improve on that. He has gained a few points on Ginger Andy after the last race, of course. Jack scoring points and Andy not with that. But we'll actually go with Khalifa. Obviously, his pitting there. So nothing to worry about there. And everyone is in the pits or on in-laps. I literally think it is just Jack Pearson who is currently on a flying lap at the moment. So then, and Andy, I think, maybe doing a second lap as Jack Pearson runs it wide there. He's got one lap on his tyres. He's 2.5 tenths down, and Andy is in the pits then. So it is literally just Jack on an actual flying lap. But where will he go? Will he improve from last position? I think he should, because Jack Craig has not done a lap as of yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Will Jack Craig do anything? Will he bother going out? It's hard to tell. Hard to tell at the moment. And there we go then, Jack Pearson running it a bit wide there. Not really what he wants. Very easy to unsettle the rear end through that because you're braking and turning. Obviously getting your car planted, ready for the left-hander. Avoiding the wall on the right-hand side as well. It's very easy just to lose your rear end. You need to be very gentle with the brakes. As we see a few cars coming out of the pits on the map. So hopefully not long. And we'll have the top runners out again as Corey is on an out lap. So he's came out the pits. So is Kyle, Knighton, and Dan the Man Robo Jeep, and Magic Poop Cannon as well. There will Jack go into the pits. I think he should, to be honest with yourself, but he's going to finish this lap. It is probably going to be what, 13th, 14th, and it goes 15th there. 37.4, but he needs to get in that pits pretty damn quick. And he's actually, I'm not really going to watch that then. That's not what I want to see on the stream. But here we go then. So let's just take a look then. We'll go with, let's say we'll go with Corey on his out lap at the moment. I think actually Paul and Robo Jeep. So Luca's running it very wide there. Paul, we'll stay with Paul then. we'll stay with Paul then. Obviously, as he's about to finish his lap for the time being. He's actually got the Racing Point ahead. So here we go then. Where will he go? I think it may be a bit of a distraction. And actually, he gets out of the way, so that's perfectly fine. 13th is Paul at the moment. So he needs to be very... he needs to make this lap really count. To be honest with yourself. And here we go. They're missing the apex there. He improved by 1 place. 1 place as Mr. Chiapelli then across the line. And he goes 14th. There. So let's take a look then. The top 3 are out. And let's see then. So it will be Corey who starts his flying lap first. This will be his last flying lap pretty much. I doubt he will have the urge to do one. Obviously next. So here we go then. Corey starts his lap. We shall see. Uses a lot of the curb on the left. Actually misses the apex this time. That tightens it up. Not really what he wants. It was a bit too much speed into that corner. He keeps it out of the wall there. Will he use a lot of the circuit on the left hand side? Yes he does. Will he use a lot of the curb? Yes he does. So that is fantastic. And let's see then down this DRS straight, a lot of overtaking will happen there, as well as the main straight. And will he be up on his time? And it's showing an outlap yet again, so I can't really say. It's not a purple, and he's actually invalidated his lap. Corey has invalidated his lap, so that's, he may have 1 more lap in it if he saves his ERS, but his tyres will be less than optimal. But let's take a look then. So it is Khalifa, who's currently in P3. He's about to start his lap instead then. Around the final corner, he needs to be careful. This will be the only lap he gets, as Mr. Chiapelli has retired then from P14. And here we go then. How much curb will he ride? Is invalidated his lap, Khalifa, so that's his qualifying over then. So it'll be no better than 3rd. We're actually go with the Machine Fishy then. Let's see if anyone in the top 3 decides not to invalidate a lap time. And here we go then. How does he do? Turn 1. Rides a bit of the apex there, not the curb there, so not too bad from him. Needs to be careful of that right side. And he's invalidated it, so people cannot do it. People just cannot seem to do their laps then. And let's go with Kyle then. He is a 10th up on his time, and it's actually set a purple middle sector as Danderman has retired there. So let's see what Kyle can do. He's in P8 at the moment. What if he gains 2 tenths? He'll be in P6. So it's a possibility. It is a possibility there. So let's have a look then. Let's see what he can do. Will he do something well? Or actually, we'll go with Corey after this, because I am hearing he has started his 2nd lap, and that will be the only one there. So Kyle then, around the final corner, where will he go? Will he improve? He's P8 at the moment, and he goes P4. Perfect there. So that's perfect. Aiden then is ahead of, as we see, a car in the wall there. That was Phil Bargewell. Not really what he wanted there, I'm sure. He is currently in P11, so he gets a fresh set of tyres there, but Aiden then is further around than Corey, so we'll stick with Aiden Griffins. Currently P5 at the moment, 35.4. I think he'll be satisfied. And he's validated it. Never mind there. And here we go then. Matt Tibos, currently in P8. He needs to make this lap count. He's got a purple middle sector, which is important there, and he's validated his lap time instead. So there we go then. So we'll go with Corey then, as he's the only, I think, one really. He's the only, with Kyle, the only one who can set a lap. And I think Kyle has probably backed out. So Corey is the last of the runners. Obviously, Corey, purple middle sector then. He keeps it on the circuit there. Again, if you go left of that white line, it will invalidate it. But here we go then. Corey, purple middle sector. Will he improve, obviously, on Machine Fish's time? He's got a bit of a go. He's got 3 attempts. I think he needs to make up to get pole position. He could do it, but this is his 2nd lap on these tyres, so it's going to be a big ask. But if Corey can do it, he's the sweatiest one. He definitely can do it there. Across the line then. Does he improve? And yes, he does. He does go pole position there. I don't know what the exact time was because it's the end, but he does go pole position. So it is, and I believe it was a 34.7 I'm hearing, so it was about half a tenth to a tenth quicker than Machine Fishing. There we go then. Just under a tenth between the top 2. Corey P1, Machine Fishy P2. They are fighting for this title. Khalifa P3, Kyle P4. Very, very happy with that. Aiden Griffins, I think he'll be satisfied. Only 7 tenths off. Dan the Man, I think he'll be satisfied with less than a second. Knight in P7. Matt Tibos, yet again, leaving it late, invalidating his lap, is P8. Not what you want round here. J Luke P9, Panos P10. Phil P11, he's primed to start on whichever tyres he wants. Andy is in P12, yet again, ahead of Jack Pearson. Paul 13th, Mr. Chiapelli 14th, Rubber Jeep 15th, Jack Pearson is 16th, Jovial Manatee, the Sea Cow is 17th, Magic Poop Cannon 18th, and Jack Craig rounding out the grid. So it's set to be an exciting one. You've got the 2 title contenders, first and second. You've got Matt Tibos, the reigning single champion in TGP, trying to make up those places, and this is not the circuit you want to do it at all. There, of course, 1 point separating the top 2 going into this race. It is mid-season now, so there's still another half of the season to go, so I'm hoping it's exciting as the first half has been. I'm pretty sure it is. I think there's a lot of controversy, a lot of action still to come, and at the moment I think you'd be silly, I think, to start on the mediums, to be honest with yourself, in this race. It's the best strategy, but then if there's a safety car, your strategy is out the window, so it's very important to make the right decision. You can risk it for the biscuit by doing the opposite strategy, or you can do the less optimal strategy, but the most optimal when it comes to safety cars. So here we go then. Lights are on. 4 lights, 5 lights, and they are, wait for it, out. And there we go then. Away they go. Corey keeps the lead, I think. Machine Fishy, as there we go then. Actually, Machine Fishy's already inside. Corey keeps up the inside. A bit of contact there between, obviously, the Renault and the Alfa Romeo. Aiden already thinking about Khalifa. However, Khalifa does have the inside line onto the straight. However, Aiden will get a better run out of it. And there's a car in the background there. I was going to say Williams there. Speed Knight has retired. And there's already a safety car. Let's have a look then. Who started on the medium, shall we? And there we go. Matt Tibos. Matt Tibos is on the mediums. Paul and Andy is on the mediums. Mr. Chiapelli is on the mediums. And Jack Craig and the Sea Cow in 17th and 18th are on the mediums. So, as I said, that is the most optimal strategy. But if there's a safety car, it's difficult. It's very difficult. And will anyone pit? I honestly think the softs, if I was a soft runners, I would pit this lap. I would pit this lap because chances are the safety car is going to be out maybe until the end of lap 3. It's going to be close. It's going to be an interesting one. But I do think the people on the medium tyres are pretty much screwed potentially when it comes to their not necessarily the racers, but they're on now less than optimal strategies there now. But we will see. And I think Khalifa, let's have a look then. I think Khalifa's actually, maybe he's talking to Corey. We don't really know. They might be in a party together. We will see. But Khalifa, by rules, is not allowed to back up the field to allow the 2 cars ahead to get a bit of a gap. So if Khalifa pits but he slows down, that is a pretty much slam dunk penalty. So he needs to be careful of that. That is against the rules there. And there we go then. Corey is in the pits. Machine Fishy is in the pits. Khalifa is in the pits. Aiden's in the pits. Kyle's in the pits. And I think Dan, who's not stopping. Matt Tibos is continuing, of course. He is on the mediums. He's got no choice, really. He does not have to. And Aiden Griffins gets a penalty. Apparently, a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Khalifa. So he's already ruined his own race, potentially. And there we go, then. So a bit of a lag there. A lag moment there with the pits. And Khalifa's really getting held. He's getting held a lot with all these cars coming into the pits. Again, it is a danger pitting at this point in time when there's so many cars coming in the pits. Because if you get held by one, you're going to get held by all of them then. And here we go. This train of cars coming out of the pits. So then, the top 4, I think it's the top 4 pretty much, that have not stopped. So let's have a look then. Yep. Top 4 have not stopped again. Matt Tibos, Paul, Magic Poop Cannon, and Jack Craig. Let's just have a look then at the, if I can find which one it is, tyres there. There we go then. So, Ferrari is 1-2. Obviously, Magic Poop Cannon has stayed out on his softs. I'm not too sure his strategy there. I think that was the wrong strategy. But the top 4 then have not pitted. Everyone else has pitted. And this is actually going to be an interesting strategy. This is going to be interesting because the top 4 are going to be basically holding up the rest of the field. So I think the only chance Matt Tibos has of a potential podium or a potential win is if 2nd, 3rd and 4th hold up the rest of the field so much that Matt really pulls away. And I mean, Matt will do that, but whether it's going to be enough, and then when he goes on to those softs, it's still going to be quite difficult there. But, you know, Matt Tibos in first, Paul in second, Magic Poop Academy in third, Jack Craig in fourth. Then the first of the people who have pitted, so the rest of the grid, Corey P5, Machine Fishy P6, Kyle P7, Aiden Griffins is in P8, of course. Dan the Man is in P9 currently, Phil Bardwell P10, Khalifa in 11th has gone on hards, Ginger Andy in 12th has gone on hards, J Luke 13th, Jack Pearson 14th, Panos 15th, RoboJeep 16th who has also gone for hards, Jovial Seacow Manatee in P70 on the softs. I don't think that's a good strategy. I think you should pit for mediums, to be honest with yourself. And then Mr. Cheapelli currently in 18th on the hards. I definitely think he should pit for mediums. Obviously, those hards will be too slow at this circuit. And as we can see then, obviously, there are two cars in the pits. Paul and Magic Poop kind of have finally pitted. So now it's just a case for Corey. Corey only has to overtake Jack Craig. Although Jack Craig did make it very difficult for a lot of drivers in the last race at Spain doing this exact pretty much strategy. So, and this is a circuit that's a lot harder to overtake. So if Jack Craig places his car well, he could very well easily cause a bit of a stir in this championship fight. Again, Corey Machine Fishy, 1 point separating third and fourth in this race at the moment in the championship. So I think Jack Craig has the whole world in his hands, as the song goes. So we will see then. And obviously a few cars in the pits. Jovial Manatee, Paul and Mr. Chipelli coming out of the pits. I'm not really sure of Paul's tactic, to be honest. Paul always leaves the strategies too late. And I think if Paul had pitted before the safety car came out, or when it did, it'd be a lot higher up. And he's now second to last because of it. So he's on the softs though, which, again, it's an interesting tactic. I don't think those softs will last, to be honest with yourself. Again, the soft highway is it's very aggressive. But we'll see. Again, I get the strategies wrong sometimes, like everyone does. We will see how it plays out. We will really see. But then, again, that's the love. That is the love of this sport. We will see. So it is lap 3 out of a full 15. Safety car may come in this lap. I think it will come in this lap, to be honest with yourself. It's been out for a few laps now. Usually it's a max of 3 laps, I think. Obviously, depending on the circuit. Longer circuits, it stays out for less laps. As the safety car then is in this lap. And let's go with Corey then, shall we? Again, he's got the fight to overtake Jack Craig as soon as he can. Jack Craig will not make it easy for him, I reckon. However, Matt Tibos then needs to pull a gap immediately. Or he can kiss his win goodbye, unless there's another safety car. Or a virtual safety car. That could help Matt Tibos quite substantially if there's a virtual safety car in the next couple of laps. I think Matt Tibos, if there's not, probably will pit about lap 9-10. But here we go, gearing up. Matt Tibos needs to be careful. He doesn't want to hit the brakes or slam on the brakes, neither does Jack Craig. Or that can obviously cause a few issues there. Just let your car run. Don't make any sudden moves on the throttle or on the brakes, of course. And everything will be fine. Everyone preparing, getting their ERS modes ready. And here we go. Then I think Matt Tibos will jump it before that and he's gone. Matt Tibos has gone already, and there we go. Then Jack Craig has also already got a bit of a gap to Corey. Then, however, then we will see again. Jack Craig will go defensive. Here we go. Then on to the main straight. As we can see, we're going a bit on board. Let's say just for the time being for this next DRS zone. And actually, yeah, you can see already Corey really hammering the brakes, closing that gap just on the brakes alone. But again, there's not much of an opportunity to overtake on this circuit, as Matt has already got a 1.5 second lead. As there's a yellow flag already. I think that's just the game. And here we go then. Is Jack Craig going to go defensive? He does. Corey has no chance then. And here we go then. The fight for P5 and P6. Aiden is through then. And Corey has made it through around the outside then. Is it going to be good? And yes, he's made it through. So that is absolutely what he needed. Now it's Machine Fishy's turn. Not really the best place these next set of corners. As Dan the Man and Kyle 6th and 7th. As Kyle has kept that place on Dan. Dan's really attacking him though. He wants that position as soon as he can. He needs to make that move as soon as he can. Here we go then. Machine Fishy, is he up the inside and he goes for it? What a move by Machine Fishy, perfect there. Obviously Jack Craig not making it too difficult, however, he doesn't really want to get too aggressive. And here we go then, Jack Craig back on Machine Fishy. Does he think about it? No, he doesn't there. But here we go then, as Carl has kept that position on Dan the Man, and Phil right behind Dan the Man. Phil wants a good haul of points in this race, of course. He wants those points, and the gap at the front is 2.2 seconds, so we will see, will that gap come down? It doesn't necessarily have to come down. As long as Corey keeps that gap at 2 seconds, he will finish. Corey will finish ahead of Matt Tibos pretty much, unless there's some sort of virtual safety car or a crash by Corey, of course, there. Matt Tibos, of course, does set the fast lap. The gap has came down by a tenth or so in those final few corners, of course. But here we go then onto the main straight. Obviously, Phil right behind Dan the Man. 3/10 is the gap, as we can see. Jack and Andy then, worst camera angle ever. And Ginger Andy going defensive there. Obviously, Jack wanting more points. He is 12th at the moment. Only a few more positions he needs to gain to get more points there. And here we go then. Andy going a bit defensive there. Obviously, who's running more downforce, who's running less downforce? We shall see them. Let's take a look. Andy under attack from Jack Pearson of all people. Andy does go defensive. Will Jack try anything? No, he doesn't. He's not quite close enough as of yet. But this is a tasty little battle again. Andy is on the hard tyres. Jack is on the medium. So Jack needs to really clear Andy as soon as he can. I think it may be the last lap or so where the hards and the mediums are a level on performance, I'd say. However, Jack needs to be very careful as well, because he does have Panos in the obviously racing point right behind him as well. So one bad move from Andy, or one bad move, should I say, from Jack Pearson, and Panos will pounce. I am sure of that, as we can see the rear wing of that Red Bull, the Aston Martin branding for this year, and this year only, of course. Well, it'll be on the next game, of course, because this isn't 2019, not 2020, but even so then. Oh, Andy's really struggling on those hard tyres. I think it was the wrong decision to go on those hards, but again, Andy did start on the mediums, so he didn't really have a choice, to be honest with yourself. But Jack's really struggling to get through. It will be down to DRS, and very close there. Obviously, Jack misinterpreting the speed difference there. And here we go then. Obviously onto the main straight. DRS is now active. I will point out a bad exit for Jack Pearson there, it seems. Andy getting not quite the exit out of that last corner either, but here we go then. It's not going to be moved onto the main straight. It will be the second DRS zone, but again, will it? When actually Andy runs it wide, Andy is struggling with these hards again. There is a massive difference around here between the medium and hards, and just the tyres in general. Is a bit of a wobble there for the car, and Kyle is out. Kyle is out. Is that going to bring a safety car or a virtual? And there we go. The Williams is obviously in the barrier. He must have hit that wall on the left hand side and then spun it across. So that's not good for him there. But here we go then. Andy going defensive. Will Jack go around there? And there is a virtual safety car. So this may, I think the virtual safety car will come in before obviously they get round to the pits, so I think it's not going to make much of a difference at the front for Matt Tibos. But Matt Tibos at this point in time is the only driver, I think, yet to pit, of course. So I think Matt Tibos may have been hoping for that safety car or virtual safety car a bit later on. Obviously, how will Andy fare at the virtual safety car restart though, and how will Jack Pearson? Very easy to gun it a bit too early, get into the red, obviously on the delta, and get a penalty, so they need to be very careful of that, of course. But here we go then. I think it's about to come in. We shall see. And there we go then. And actually, Magic Poop Cannon has got a penalty for multiple warnings. I don't know what that one's for, but we'll focus on the racing. So let's see then. When will this virtual safety car end? Who will get a better start? And here we go then. It is away, I believe. Obviously in. Ooh, Andy there getting a bit out of shape into the braking zone. Braking very early, nearly caught out Jack Pearson, but Jack Pearson wants this point. And I must say, at this moment in time, this is the fight for the final point position. This is personal between Ginger Andy 96 and Jack Pearson, as Andy gets very outside, and Jack up the inside. However, Jack, I will assume, will get DRS, and Andy trying to hold it round the outside. He goes off the circuit, and here we go. Panos is thinking about it as well. And actually, Andy's back through, but that may have been a bit of a dodgy move by Andy off the circuit. Potentially it was hard to see from that camera angle. However, Jack has lost a position to Panos now. Although, they're all in the points now. They are all in the points now, to be honest with yourself. So, someone did make a pit stop. It was, I believe, Dan the Man and Phil Bargewell. So now they are up, and here we go then. DRS will be wide open for Jack Pearson and Panos. Will Andy go defensive? I'm sure he will. And here we go then. Panos trying to go around the outside. Will he outbrake Andy? He's thinking about it. He's thinking about he's holding around the outside, and he pushes him off there, but nothing too serious. Panos keeping up the inside for this next corner, and keeping around the outside, very close to that barrier. Jack Pearson waiting in the wings, and Jack up the inside of Panos there. Oh, a bit aggressive then. Jack nearly spins it. That was his own doing. And now he's just lost a place to Jovial Manatee there. So obviously now Jack is out of the points again for fighting for P8. But here we go then. Panos right behind Ginger Andy. Roy in his potential first point of the season if he keeps this up. But I'm sure Jack will not let that slide. He wants more points there. And here we go. Panos then. No DRS on this straight. Will he go up the inside of Andy? He's thinking about it. And he backs off at the last minute. I think he's going to wait for that DRS to know that he's going to get that move and then be gone. Obviously, but this is a train. You've got P8 all the way pretty much to P15 for this fight. So there's a 7-car pretty much fight for P8, which is fantastic. And this is what Singapore does. You can't overtake. You've got 2 opportunities, and that is it. But here we go then. Obviously, the racing point then. Obviously, onto the main straight. Will he go up the inside at turn 1? Will he have that exit that he needs to? Again, Andy is on those hard tyres, so they need to try and make it. And here we go then. Will Andy go defensive? No, he doesn't. Obviously, up the inside he goes. Worst camera angle. He holds it around the outside, does Andy. Perfect defending from Andy there, but Panos is having none of it there, and he wants that position. He wants that extra point, and he should get it on this next S zone if he keeps it. Obviously, he's going to go around the outside. He's thinking about it. He's around the outside. What a move from Panos there. Kept it clean. Kept that momentum through that corner, and Panos is through them. But will Andy go up the inside? Obviously, Panos going slightly defensive. Andy up the inside there, thinking about it, but that's put him out of shape then for this next corner. Now, Jovial Manatee. And actually, Luca is past Jack as well there, so Jack is falling down the order, obviously, in this. So Jack is going backwards, not what he wanted. He was in a fight for the points and now he's going backwards. But here we go then. Will Roy, Jovial Manatee, the Sea Cow, get ahead of Ginger Andy? Again, Andy on this game at least recently has more experience than Jovial Manatee does. However, and oh, there we go then. J. Luke has hit a wall, so he is pretty much out. I think he may have clipped that wall on the right hand side that I was talking about in qualifying. So that is him out of the points. And here we go then. Obviously not quite close enough there is Roy, but now Roy's going to come under pressure from Mr. Chiapelli. Obviously it's a very interesting train. This is the best fight. Corey is only a second behind Matt at the lead, so obviously Corey's looking very good there. Obviously, here we go then. Through this, is it gonna nothing to worry about there? I thought there was going to be a move into that corner. Very easy to do sometimes. As Andy getting very out of shape there. That's going to allow obviously Jovial Manatee to get a good slingshot, good momentum. But here we go then onto the main straight. I think Jovial Manatee is running quite a lot of downforce. He may be running max downforce potentially, as Panos has got a 3-second penalty there, so we need to build that gap. Currently it's 2.7 seconds to Ginger Andy, so Panos needs to get a move on. Only 6 laps to go here, but let's take a look in this fight for 7th place. There's still a massive train behind these guys for this fight. And there you can see all coming onto that straight. All got the DRS open. Obviously, Jovial Manatee then not quite close. I think Jovial Manatee is definitely running a lot of downforce, but Andy is running probably a little less. Because obviously, even with DRS, Jovial Manatee is not able to get past, even with DRS. Luckily for Andy, that is, to be honest with yourself, a lot of curb riding there from Jovial Manatee. Jack Pearson sitting back on those lines. And we'll see. I think it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think this fight will go down to the very last lap as it all closes up and Jack Pearson tapping. Obviously, Mr. Chiapelli there in that corner. No damage, it seems, so he needs to be very careful of that. But this fight is very close. Oh, and Luca there going very wide. I think he missed his breaking point there, so that is Luca out of this battle and out of the points. So a very costly mistake for Mr. Chiapelli there, and that has allowed Jack back into the points. So of course, Magic Poop Cannon is now going to be able to close in on this gap, as well as Robo G-Power. We'll point out though, Magic Poop Cannon does have a few penalties, so it's an interesting one there. So we'll keep on board and off board with this battle. 8 temps is separating the top 2 at present, so we'll keep an eye on that in the background. But Matt is still yet to pit on his tyre, so I think he'll be looking to go as late as possible then. But here we go then. It again is still the fight for P7, and here we go. DRS is going to be wide open any minute now, and here we go on the main straight. Who is closer? And Roy is definitely close this time. Jovial Manatee is going to have to try and go around the long way round. He's not got the straight line speed though. He's thinking about going around that side. Is Andy going to brake late? Yes, he does. He runs off the circuit. He actually keeps it just on there. Jack Pearson is really thinking about it. Perfect telecam here. And obviously, Jovial Manatee keeps that position. Jack keeps his position. And Andy keeps his. Oh! And Jack Pearson there clips the back of, obviously, Jovial Manatee. That is Jack's mistake and only Jack's mistake, and that has actually cost Jovial Manatee so many places, and because of that, Jovial Manatee does have wing damage as well there. But here we go then, Robo Jeep and Magic Poop Cannon, the 8th place. So here we go then. Let's just take a look. Will, as Jack Craig there leaves, and he has DNF from this race. 4 retirements so far from this race, and Matt Tibos has pitted. Where will he come out? Machine Fishy is now ahead of him, and there we go. I think he may come out, I think, ahead of this pack. I think he will come out P4 actually. Yes, I think he'll be P4, so not bad. Not bad for Matt Tibos after his qualifying, so staying out, and actually he's P5 now, but again, I think it's far better than it was there. And here we go, the Magic Poop Cannon, readying Robo Jeep on this DRS straight. Will he have that slipstream? Will he have the DRS? Of course he will, and he gets very close into that final corner there, I think pretty much pushing around it. But here we go then, this is he going to have, no, not quite there. We're going to stay with this though, the DRS then. We're going to find this DRS, and actually Matt Tibos did come out in P6 as Robo Jeep does run it a bit wide there. Obviously it needs to be very careful there. And here we go then, Panos not going defensive against Matt Tibos. Matt Tibos back up to P5 on those fresh tyres. Jack Pearson gets a penalty there, and now it's 8 seconds. 8 seconds that he needs to catch. And there we go, Magic Poop Cannon round the outside. Is he going to make it stick? He's thinking about it. Oh, but Robo Jeep squeezed him out there as Mr. Chiapelli and Jack Pearson as well then. Also, they're all kicking off here, and Jack Pearson is through on Mr. Chiapelli there. However, again, what everyone needs to consider is Jack Pearson does have a penalty, I believe. So I think Mr. Chiapelli does not. So if Mr. Chiapelli keeps right behind him, he should be in for a shout of points. And look at this train, perfect. Come on. And Roy and Mr. Chiapelli get penalties. So now 3 of them have got penalties. So it's going to be who finishes on track there. But this train is absolutely glorious. Look at these camera angles. I'm loving it. It's making me hard. I apologise for the younger viewers, of course. But this is erotic camera angles. This is, and I'm loving it. And here we go then, Jack thinking about going up the inside of Paul then, and actually Robo Jeep's lost his wing, and no, the Ferrari there nearly loses his wing as well. Not what you want, and obviously Paul then is, and has kept his wing. A couple laps to go now, 12 out of 15 of course. Obviously Corey will take the championship lead if the race finishes like this, 5 seconds between Corey and Machine Fishy, of course. And here we go then. Obviously, Jack thinking about Paul. Oh, getting a very good end there. That's quite close. And here we go then. Will Paul go defensive? Paul doesn't go defensive. Jack thinking about the inside, and that's going to allow. And oh, I don't know what's going on. I can't see anything. It's so exciting. And there we go then. Jack has hit Paul and now has allowed himself through. So not good driving for Jack tonight, it seems. I think he's getting a lot of incidents, which is not really very good. So here we go then, and now Mr. Chiapelli on Paul. Will he go around the outside and Paul backs off? Oh, I mean, should I say Mr. Chiapelli backs off, but he thinks about going around the outside actually. Oh, very close, and then Paul getting very raggedy. Is he going to go around the outside, and Mr. Chiapelli around the outside? In the wall he goes, and that is bad from Paul. That was not good from Paul there. Bad from Paul. Paul left him no room at all and just crowded him into the barrier. And I think Paul is letting him through. So that is good sportsmanship through there. But I think that is his race pretty much run. No points for Mr. Chiapelli there. So that's not the great there. And here we go then. So Jack's bad driving has allowed him into the final points position. But again, I think it may go to the stewards. We'll let the stewards decide really on what that happens. But Jovial Manatee then is in his points as Matt Tibos has set the fast lap. 1.5 seconds between Matt Tibos in 5th and Khalifa in P4. However, I don't think, well, Matt Tibos will gain any more positions other than one more position at the most this race. But a good recovery there, as Paul has retired. I think Paul has had enough. He knows he won't get any points from his damage, so I think he's just called it quits. Wants to save that engine, and I don't blame him. Here we go then, Roy getting very out of shape. Jack Pearson got the DRS. Will he go up the inside? No, Roy goes defensive there, and so does the Haas. Thinking about going around the outside of Dan the Man. Obviously, Jack, bit of damage from Jack Pearson there. Jack Pearson damage there, and this has allowed Dan the Man up two positions there, and it is side by side. And here we go then, and now we've got the other, and Phil around the outside of Jack Pearson, then good move from there. And here we go then, 2 tenths between Matt Tibos and Khalifa for P4. It's not going to be a podium for either of them then. We're going to stick on board with this, as this is obviously a potential fight for the title. Looking most unlikely, but you never know. And oh, Khalifa getting a bad run out there. Matt Tibos pretty much pushing him along. Obviously, I think DRS not really having an effect there, of course, and through Matt Tibos goes through, so that Matt Tibos will be away and gone. But I don't think he'll have won't have too much time there. And here we go, 2 Toro Rossos, Roy a stand-in, and Phil the full-time driver, of course. Obviously, it's party time for these two then. You know, I think, will Roy go defensive? You know, again, Roy is potentially the part-time driver, of course. John is not able to make it this week due to work commitments, but you know, Phil is definitely the #1 in this team at the moment. And Roy goes defensive then. Will Phil go around the outside? He's thinking about it, and Phil around the outside. A very good move from there. However, Roy does have wing damage, and then Jack is trying to go around the outside of Roy then. He's thinking about it. He's going to make it stick. Yes, he does. This camera angle is horrendous, and yes, he does. So Jack is up then. But however, Roy back through then, so I'm not sure if Jack got a bad exit there, or he backed off there, so I'm not sure what happened there then. But this again is pretty much the closest battle on the circuit at present. It seems so. We'll have to stick with this battle. Both cars have wing damage. The sister teams getting together. I don't think the team principal, obviously Christian Horner, will be very happy. I think he'll give him he might give them both a slap round the ear after this race to say, what the bloody hell are you doing? You know, you're supposed to be fighting for points there. It is horrendous there. So let's take a look then. Will Jack Pearson have DRS? He's thinking about it. Very late on the brakes there. So here we go then. Will Jack go up the inside? Jack not having quite the slipstream enough with regards to that. And I am hearing my pit lane. And oh no, Magic Poop Cannon has crashed out of the points positions as Jack Pearson thinking about going around that side of Roy. And then Jack Pearson up the inside of Roy. And here we go then, Phil and Dan as well. Phil has taken Dan, but keeps that position, nearly running it wide there. Again, I think both these cars do have wing damage, but Magic Poop Cannon from a points position has crashed out. I will point out, I think he's used my setup, potentially. I know he was at Spain, potentially, so I'm taking the credit for that. I'm just going to say here, I am hearing Aiden's tyres in P3 are finished. He's got a 3.6 second gap to Matt Tibos, though, at present. However, he does have a penalty, which I would assume will be getting removed after the end of the race from just the game being rubbish. Coded, again, thank you. Thank you for that. But Phil Bargewell then a second ahead of Dan the Man. I think that is that fight over with, as Corey has started, of course, his last lap, midway around the last lap, of course. 6 seconds to him and Machine Fishy. I think this was always going to happen between those two. Corey being a sweaty this race. Obviously, I think it was inevitable that Corey was going to always do better than Machine Fishy. If Machine Fishy wants to win this title, he needs to get just as sweaty as Corey, of course. But yeah, again, Corey doing a lot of sweat for these two racers. Machine Fishy doing 0. But here we go then. Dan the Man may have to go defensive against Jack Pearson. Both have wing damage, of course. And oh, Dan the Man hitting the wall there. That's not going to help now. We're missing both end plates. But here we go then. Jack Pearson up the inside with the DRS. Is he going to make it a clean this time? Hopefully. Yes, he does. The one clean move he makes, and Dan the Man is probably going to lose another place to Jovial Manatee as well. So that is Dan out of the points. And Corey ran penultimate corner across the line. He will come in just a moment to win yet another race, and fantastic result for him. That is the championship lead for him. Obviously, Machine Fishy. And here we go then. Matt Tibos only 9 tenths behind Aiden. On the circuit, I think Matt Tibos will finish head, so you will see him on the podium. But I am hearing that Aiden's penalty will get removed. So Aiden will finish P3. Matt Tibos will finish P4. Khalifa is in P5 there on the hards. Good drive from him. Panos is going to come back there. And here we go then, Roy and Dan. Obviously, Roy thinking about going up the inside. And actually, he's already up the inside because of Dan's understeer. Will he go around the outside of this next corner? I think he will. Yes, he does there. And that is Dan trying to hold it around the outside there with that damage. And that is on the last lap with 4 or 5 corners to go. Dan has just lost his only point of this race. So, obviously, not really what he wanted. But, you know, I guess it's part of racing. I guess it is part of racing. Not really what you want, but you know these things do happen. I am afraid, and I think Dan does back off across the line. I don't think he was best pleased there. RoboJeep coming home in P12, 20 seconds off. Obviously Dan the man then, and then Mr. Chiapelli having a few excursions off the circuit, and obviously getting sort of taken out, I guess. With no wing at the moment, as you can see, the understeer is horrendous for Mr. Chiapelli. Comes home in P13, not too far off the points after all is said and done. And that is pretty much your racing for TGP tonight. Obviously, again, very controversial races, very exciting races, a lot of action, obviously, with that. And obviously, Corey, as I mentioned, is the new championship leader after tonight, 6 points clear. So I think Machine Fishy really needs to, you know, do something for the next few races. Obviously, he doesn't want to keep doing that. As I've said, Corey was very sweaty for these races. Machine Fishy did 0. So it's the opposite thing. It is the opposite thing that needs to happen there going forward. And there we go. Yet another win for the Alfa Romeo of Corey. Machine Fishy, yet another P2. And Matt Tibos provisionally on the podium. However, he will be P4 as Aiden's penalty is going to be removed due to it being a glitch. So the points then after this race, Corey is now on 188, Machine Fishy is on 182, Matt Tibos 137, so he's quite a ways away from the championship lead now, and Aiden is on 114. That is the top 4 in the championship after both of tonight's races, of course. And then we're going to see the final results once it loads, if it actually does. We'll see. I think it may have actually frozen, so nice game, as it were there. And is it frozen? Yeah, the game's actually frozen. So I'm not going to go over the results. However, we're going to just quickly take a look at the calendar then. Obviously, so the next 2 races are Hungary and France. Obviously, Tuesday this time next week. So hopefully that is going to be a fantastic 2 races as well. Hungary, quite hard to overtake, similar to Spain, and then France is going to be slipstream heaven there. So yeah, that will be fantastic to see, I am sure. You have been listening to the Soft Cop yet again commentating this season. You have been watching TGP1, that was rounds 11 and 12. I hope to see you all next week, and I do hope you enjoyed.